Hey everybody, this video is to go over the general maintenance for the Quinitech Advantis made by Siemens. The previous video I put on here has, we went over just the process of running a patient sample on here. This machine only is able to do a chemical analysis. It's not able to do an automatic microscopic analysis on the urine. That's done on the scope over here with a cover slip and a slide. But we're going to kind of just go over the basic way we take this machine apart and how it's cleaned and how quality control is ran. So on this machine, there's an on-off switch on the left side here. So we're going to go ahead and turn that off. And once that's off, the screen will go blank. And at that point, you can actually disassemble the machine. So the little pusher bar right here gets pushed up, pulled up, and removed out. The waste bin gets pulled out just like that, very easy. And then this particular tray here is just basically pulled out from below the top of the device, and I just grab it as such. You can take two hands or use one. Obviously I only have one hand available right now, but you want to actually put pressure on the machine and pull this out evenly. Okay, very important to evenly. If you ever would pull this out the wrong way, you'd pull up and catch, you could actually affect the mechanism of the machine. The balance would be off and it wouldn't be able to run your urine dipsticks. There are two parts to this tray. There is this particular part right here, then the bottom portion. This is where the dipstick is actually ran across and the testing is done. And then beneath here there's another part which is right here. It can actually be very tricky to get off and on. This particular device is what actually balances the machine, what allows the machine to kind of, all the mechanics to work. Kind of just basically addresses the flow of the dipstick and basically acts as a level for the testing tray. Now this is very tricky to get back in, but like I said, with full finesse this is fine. Now I've already gone ahead and cleaned this device tonight. If I would do the cleaning process in front of you and wait for it to dry, this video would be forever. So, but I'm going to talk about basically how that's done. You want to make sure that you use a acid-free, bleach-free, alcohol-free cleaner. So nothing with those particular elements in there. What we use here is, believe it or not, a basic palm olive soap and a toothbrush. And we go ahead and put the soap on all the components of this device. We go ahead and rinse it off with a sink, water, and we make sure that we scrub this particular tray, especially in the testing area, with the toothbrush. Once that's done, we rinse it off. Very important to make sure that the device is rinsed off. Any residual soap on there needs to be rinsed off, because if there's any residual soap left on there, that can affect the testing. You can let the device air dry. If you want to get it done faster, you'll have to actually take a chem wipe and dry it off. You want to make sure you're using a lint-free, wipe to actually eliminate, any residual water. So you use a chem wipe, something that's lint-free, and then once it's dry, you can reassemble it. So that's basically how it's cleaned, using a basic, like I said, alcohol-free, bleach-free, soap, making sure that we rinse it all off completely so there's no residual soap. So once that's done, as we go ahead and put this device back together, we're going to go ahead and put this piece on first. Like I said, it does take a little finesse to do, but once you get it down, it's not too hard. I'm going to show you the inside of this machine, and basically the bottom of this lines up. There's a groove where this actually gets pushed in and put back on. So give me 1 second to finish this off. Like I said, I only have one hand I'm working with here, so you just gotta fit it all on there nice and even, and then push it forward. And then once it's on there, it's locked in place and it shouldn't be moving or wiggling around at all. So okay, so once that's done, we're going to go ahead and put this piece back on here. And basically there's a little nodule that this goes in down here, if you can see that there. Okay, and then this tab actually gets kind of pushed down into here. Okay, so that's put back into place. It doesn't move, it's not going to wiggle around, you're good. Okay. Once you're there, you can actually put this back into the machine. This will only fit in one way, so you basically got to set, these particular portions here, you need to get them locked in to these arms right here. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna go ahead and line it up nice and neat. And give me 1 second. Like I said, I don't want it goes in one way. And I'm doing this one-handed, so with my left hand, which is not my dominant hand. There we go. Okay. So once that's done, it's locked in. Push back, and you hear a snap. Okay. Go ahead and put the waste receptacle back in there. Okay. And then the lever gets put back in, just like it got taken out. See, this goes right here. Okay. All right. Now once that's done, the machine can be turned back on, which is a lever, like I said, a power switch right over here. This machine will reboot. It will do a software check, it will do a system check to make sure everything's in good order. And then after that happens, what you can do is you can just basically go ahead and run quality control. We know from class, we've talked about this in lecture and lab, that quality control is ran every 24 hours, and it's ran on a new lot of urine dipsticks. So, so those two circumstances would be reasons for QC to be ran. Of course, if you take your machine apart and, you know, if you have an engineer come in and work on the machine, you can go ahead and actually run your QC then. If you're having issues with your machine, for some reason you want to check your machine and make sure it's working right, you can run the controls there. But requirements for quality control are every 24 hours and every new lot of urine dipsticks. Okay, so once we're there, we can go ahead and go to the menu, all right, and go into QC. And when we program our levels, we actually use the lot number of our quality control, which is on the side of the bottles. This particular lot is 79711. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and press enter. I've already gone ahead and poured off my quality control. It does need to come to room temp, and it's put in a urine clinical tube like such. We do treat our controls as a patient, and I just wrote QC1 on there. That's my normal control. Okay. I have my urine dipsticks right here. I'm going to go ahead and take the lid off those. And grab a dipstick. And go ahead and go into there. Wipe off the excess urine. And go ahead and place the dipstick onto the tray. That arm will feed that dipstick into the reader. There you go. And that'll process. Now my screen's back to blank again, so I can actually type in my second lot number, which is 7. Oh. Just have a delete button if you press the wrong number, by the way. 79712. Okay. So there's that. I'm going to press enter. My arm bar is going to move back over now. And now here's my urine level 2 control in a clinical tube, QC2. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and run that. And I'll put that on my tray then. Alright. And then I'll feed that control dipstick into the reader. And those are red. The results will print off. They will also cross over the LIS. Some laboratories put all of their QC into the LIS, some do not, just depends on the facility. But I will go ahead and check my results and make sure they're in range. I do have a list of ranges that are already available to me here. We put them in a log book. This is our book for the Clinitech Advantis. And all of our maintenance is documented on this form here for the daily and the weekly. And then on these pages here, we print off our controls right here, and we tape them to the spiner. And then on this last page here, this is where all the QC is actually documented. You can see there's the date, there's the time, the initials of the person who did it, and the results going across. Okay? That's the microscopic portion there. We do read the red cells and the white cells in there for each control. Here's the lot number of the control up here. Here's the expiration date, the lot number of the sticks. that we're using as well, and the expiration date on those. That's the month that we're doing this for. And then here's the range at the top. You can see that's what our expected values are for each of the analytes we're testing for on the chemical dipstick. Okay, so all right, and that kind of concludes our general maintenance portion video for the Clinitech Advantis by Siemens.